1, 2, 3, 4. The highway's jammed with broken heroes on a last chance power drive. Everybody's out on the run tonight, but there's no place left to hide. Together, Wendy, we can live through the sadness. I love you with all of the madness in my soul. Wow! Someday, girl, I don't know when we're gonna get to that place we're really gonna go. When we're... Oh, baby, jumps like us! Baby, we were born to run. Yeah, baby, jumps like us. Baby, we were born to run. Yeah, baby, just like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Whose is this? I don't know how to play this. So there have been a couple of things on my mind as of recent, some related to game releases, some just simple thoughts related to game releases. Couldn't really talk about them when they're relevant, well, with being in the middle of my Thief binge. Yeah, I staggered videos, but I was still really fucking busy at the time, so movie magic spoiled for you. But I like to take time out every now and then to address industry and culture shit related to our great hobbies, and I've wanted to put some thoughts out there for a while. So here we go, possibly a big fat sack of non sequiturs incoming, but let's fucking roll! Whether you're investing in comics, cinema, video games, tabletop games, or otherwise, nerd culture is a consumerist-driven set of hobbies. But with that comes an endless battle for balance that we have to fight. It's a fight Apple users have absolutely lost simply by buying Apple's products, and it's the one we lose every time a new ass creed darkens our doorways. That's right. Corporatism. More importantly, our own corporate slavery. Yes, I'm talking about pre-orders. Are they okay? How bad are they really? We're just gonna go ahead and slice through the bullshit right now. It is absolutely 100% never an okay practice to pre-order a game. I don't give a fuck if you've played the beta build up until release. It's not okay for you to put money down on a shelf product that isn't on the shelf yet, that no one's actually had their hands on. Some people like to buy vehicles right off the assembly line, but that's a completely different bag all on its own. I'm just bringing it up as a church to burn to let you know there is absolutely no practice in the world quite like pre-ordering a video game. Nothing. And let's get real, I am no saint. You can tell just from fucking looking at me. You can tell from my videos. I pre-order, not often, but I still do. Pre-ordering may never be okay, but it becomes at least understandable once certain conditions are met. Condition 1! Being an informed customer is getting incredibly difficult these days. When a dev refuses to send out review copies or puts up an embargo that is absolutely abusive, you know the game is gonna sit somewhere lower than shit tier. Except that Doom 4 was fucking amazing and they didn't give out review copies. Combine that with fuck nuggets like IGN being little more than paid advertisers and shit sacks like Polygon and Kotaku being megaphones for their friends, and you get a situation where the consumer really has no idea what to think anymore. So where does that leave us? Well, some devs give as many people hands-on time as close to the release as possible. They want that pre-order because they're expecting to actually sell the game on its merit. These are situations where the dev wants people to know what's coming because they believe their game will stand up and say, yes, I am worth that money. It's a situation where a pre-order can be forgiven as the devs are trying to make sure that the consumer knows what they're getting into. And it really kind of follows for HD re-releases as well. I've really only encountered 2 situations where they fucked it up, but honestly you're already informed on what to expect, you know full well what you're going for, and if it's less than $60, then yeah, go ahead and pre-order, it's not hurting anybody. Situation 2. You know what I really fucking wanted? I wanted the Witcher 3 Collector's Edition. Yes, I know it's heavily derivative and it's got problems to the point that the main character is pretty much plagiarism, but if we're going to bitch about things being heavily derivative and thus being bad, well, Star Wars, the original trilogy, would like a word with you on that. If you want to bitch about the game, bitch about the practically required and incredibly impossible to navigate and clunky crafting and alchemy. I like The Witcher 3. Fuck you. So I wanted this big $180 swag box, a big statue of Geralt face fucking a griffin. Yeah, I wanted that. A goddamn Witcher pendant. I wanted it. I had to buy one from a third party because guess what? So yes, I wanted the $180 swag box, and up until I purchased Witcher 3, the most experience I had with the series was about 35 minutes of Witcher 2 and the knowledge that it was a series of books. That's it. But they offered me something that was actually worth 3 times the cost of the game. All that sweet ass swag. I wanted the statue, I wanted that pendant, I wanted the cards, so how can I sit here and logically say, well, I want it, knowing that it's pre-order tat, and say that it's okay in that case to pre-order. And that is cost-benefit analysis. A fun trend that has been gaining momentum has been devs making collector's editions abso-fucking-lutely worth it. I hated Skyrim. Skyrim fucking sucked. It's the latest in a long line of regression in design and wastefully recycling a shitty engine. But fuck my ass if that dragon statue alone isn't worth the cost of the box. And the Witcher's Collector's Edition was well worth the cost. I wanted the same thing from Metal Gear Solid 5. I actually got the Arkham Knight one, and I might be onto something if you're saying at this point, the fuck? 2 of those games are riddled with huge problems, and one of those games was a bucket of corporate fuck. Well, the cost of the extra swag actually outweighs the cost of potentially getting an absolutely shitty game. Metal Gear Solid 5 was $60 at release. Some sweet coffee table tat and that posable mechanical arm thing, as well as whatever other jank it came with, was well worth the price tag alone. The same went for The Witchers, Konami, and CD Projekt Red just apparently didn't want my money enough. Was the Batman worth it? The statue isn't very high quality, and the metal case is roughly garbage looking. But honestly, it was $70, and the game was just an iteration of Arkham City, so yeah, it was worth it enough. A decent plastic statue that was probably worth $25, some extra Arkham City content. Yeah. Cost-benefit analysis. You see? Of these 3 cases, I greatly enjoy The Witcher, massive issues and all. I love Metal Gear Solid 5, shitty story, worse acting, and incomplete product and all. Arkham Knight was incredibly fun. The costs simply outweigh the risks. You know what would be really fucking awesome? If these stupid limited run pre-order only shit would stop. They sell out within minutes, sometimes even seconds, and there's obviously a huge demand for them. Why don't corporations just simply want to shut up and take our money? As it stands, if I want the statue of Geralt face fucking a griffin, I gotta drop $450 and CD Projekt won't see a fucking dime. Not a zilch. I wanted to give them the $180, but at the time that it was up for pre-order, I didn't have that. Now it's some 3 times that, and it's not even gonna go to them. It's gonna go to some schmuck on fucking eBay. You see that Soul Calibur 4 Collector's Edition box there? Get my arm out of the way. That one. I also got a Saints Row 2 one. Behind them is a Halo Reach. I bought those well after the games were released, and I fucking love them. They came with such awesome shit, and I want it. Gamers want it. You see that fucking Dorf statue? You see that Alice? These are the side items that are in demand. Quality tat that is a tertiary purchase and shows our love and dedication. And we want it. I think it's Dark Horse who is supposed to be releasing some Witcher statues, and I want them. I might buy at least Geralt and Triss. I got that Squall, I got that Boss, I got that Spencer, even though that was a shitty fucking game. I got a bunch of fucking amiibos! Yes! We are consumerist whores, and sometimes we can't get the good stuff until way later. All making high quality shit pre-order only does is ensure that I will never give you money for it. Honestly speaking, Witcher 3 and Metal Gear Solid 5 collector boxes didn't sell out very quickly, but I didn't have the money for either of them until 3 days after The Witcher 3 hit, way too fucking late, and on the day that Metal Gear Solid 5 hit. I don't just buy strategy guides to put up on the shelf, I buy the special edition ones. I buy art books. We're the same as sports enthusiasts filling up our man caves with all sorts of fucking memorabilia. We want it. We will pay out the fucking nose for it. Why the fuck aren't you providing? Look guys, here's a way we can solve this stupid pre-order BS and get the tat we want. Sell them separately. I bought Saints Row 2's collector's box, even though I already owned a copy of Saints Row 2. That's right, I bought the game twice. Here's a trial idea for a studio to run. Release a game, and alongside it, take time to estimate demand and make a bunch of collector's edition shit to sell on the side. Maybe a big statue with a mount for the game box and all the small shit that comes along with it. Maybe adjust the price since the game is no longer coming with it, and even have the option to buy as a bundle. Try it, and don't make it pre-order only. I may not have the money for the game day one, and I will absolutely avoid pre-ordering unless I know exactly what I'm buying or the benefit outweighs the risks. So if you give me a chance after release to love the game enough that I would want a special edition of of it or that of a sequel, chances are high that it will be available and you still get the money from me for it. Win. I get the dumb bullshit I want, thus filling that emptiness in my soul, and you actually get money for it. Under your stupid current plans, you are barely getting a dime from me. And finally, speaking of stupid pre-order bullshit, let's talk about... I didn't buy this game. I didn't play this game. They say hindsight is 20/20, but you should have known not to buy this game before it came out. I did. You know how I knew? Hindsight. I have learned from the past, and now I'm going to play Bodhisattva and enlighten your stupid asses. A long time ago, an ambitious game was met with some great woes. Woes that should have killed the project, but it hit store shelves anyway. And I bought that game with my hard-earned 12-year-old child money. That game was Superman 64. But maybe it was just a fluke in my lifetime. It was still a good jumping off point. The next year came a game that had a prolonged development cycle filled with its woes that should have killed the project. It also moved between several hardware generations mid-development. Sound familiar? It was called Daikatana. Yes, even at 13, I was starting to pay attention to trends and development cycles in the industry. Fast forward a decade or two and we get another game. This time, it jumped multiple hardware generations. I mean like 4 or 5. Software generations, full-on Windows engine generations, and skip between more devs than you can fucking count. A game some decade in the making, which actually did die multiple times, and there were my friends lining up with the pre-orders. I scoffed.
Psst, guys, it was Duke Nukem Forever, guys. It was Duke Nukem Forever.
Next came a game that was coming out with some incredibly lofty promises. Drop in, drop out, instant co-op, enemy AI that was going to change the entire landscape of gaming. Only problem is it was originally supposed to be a PlayStation 2 launch title. And it was being put out by the same people who put out the Duke's latest endeavor. Lofty, industry-changing promises, skipping entire generations of hardware and software, lengthy, trouble-ridden development cycle, and put out by the DNF guys? Yes! I was laughing like a fucking maniac as people bitched about Aliens Colonial Marines. People think fanboyism or consoles are what are killing the hobby? No. It's morons refusing to learn from the past and refusing to accept responsibility for taking part in the hype train. And these situations aren't rare. They are littered throughout gaming for the past 2.5 decades like herpes. So what the fuck does this have to do with No Man's Sky? A lofty promise of a literal universe to play in 18 quintillion procedurally generated planets. But Borderlands 2 proved to us that means that there's roughly 17.9 quintillion planet configurations of fuck all nothing to do. A lofty promise of gaming that will change the landscape of gaming? Check. Troubled development cycle? Check. Incredibly vague press? Seriously, everything I saw was them basically telling us there was nothing in the game. Tip. If you ask a dev if there will be multiplayer and they respond with, players can meet but it's incredibly unlikely, then that means no. Weasel words, non-statements, and constantly telling you what's not in the game rather than what is. Let's recap. Promising a literal universe of infinite possibility, troubled development, incredibly vague press, no early reviews, no looks into what's coming, and no one with hands-on experience. Why the fuck did anyone buy this? How the fuck could you get hyped for it? Maybe I'm just jaded as fuck, but it only took me playing Daikatana to start paying attention to development. And it only took me playing Fable to stop getting hyped for games based on lofty promises. Watching people bitch about Duke Nukem Forever and Aliens just makes me laugh at this point. Hindsight is in fact 2020, but hindsight can stretch a lot further than the game you just bought. History, people, fucking pay attention to it. So in summation, pre-orders are always bad. We are fighting a war against corporations and shitty practices that we are currently losing. But pre-ordering is sometimes understandable. Being a well-informed consumer and doing proper cost-benefit analysis are the greatest weapons we have in the battle. Try using them. Every time someone pre-orders a No Man's Sky, we lose ground. Studios, start selling your awesome shit more. A huge chunk of it is well worth the cost, and Nintendo's amiibo fuck-ups should tell you we are demanding to buy. And finally, start paying the fuck attention to the history of gaming and get on my fucking level. Stop hyping games that you know literally nothing about. Stop latching onto weasel phrases from devs. Stop pre-ordering games that no one gets any hands-on time with before release. Stop being fucking retards! Consumerism can be fucking awesome at sometimes, but straight up willful ignorance is fucking it up for the rest of us. Stop it! I'm the Necroswanson, and you can go fuck yourselves.